Alright, Nuke Knights, here we go. On to Group C, another deciding game between Fantasy and EffOrt. I've been looking at some of the reactions to my second ever popcorn commentary, which was Poussin versus Gogo, and wow, even stronger reaction this time than the last time I did it, which was Jadong versus Gigi play. Back when I did the first one, people were like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Some other people said, yeah, that's really stupid, don't do that again. And I did it again, and wow, even bigger bridge, a huge divide. Some people really loved it, some people really hated it, and for whatever reason, that really amuses me. But here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes. Sometimes you just gotta do a really stupid commentary. And those of you who have been listening to me for a while know that I'm pretty much in character when I do popcorn commentaries, so yes, whatever. Okay, looks like EffOrt is over here at the 4 o'clock position in purple, and over at the 9 o'clock position in yellow is Fantasy. Both of these guys are in slight slumps, I think. Maybe not slight. EffOrt has been losing a lot of games in Pro League. Fantasy's been losing a lot of games in Pro League, and they've both lost a lot of games in this OSL. So someone has to prove himself today. One of these players has to prove himself. And the last time I remember Fantasy going up against a Zerg on Heartbreak Ridge, this map, 2-player map by the way, was, he played against Jadong in the last OSL, in the semifinals of the last OSL. They started off on Heartbreak Ridge. That was the first set, and Fantasy won. He did a very smart build, went for science vessels, a little bit quicker than usual, and then switched back, got out a huge tank force, and ended up destroying all of Jadong's lurkers, so it was a very, very smart play. So I'm expecting him to go for something somewhat similar in this game. Strangely enough, this is not the newest Heartbreak Ridge. They've actually revised Heartbreak Ridge to make it a little bit more balanced. And I think they connected all of the little areas in the middle to the prongs, I guess you call them, the prongs in the middle of the base, of the middle of the map, sorry, with the high ground areas, basically. So they've revised this map, but this is not the revised map. So I'm expecting them to go towards the revised map in the round of 8. But for right now, this is just plain old Heartbreak Ridge. There's an expansion coming up for EffOrt already. So if Fantasy had gone for a bunker rush of something or something like that, he would have absolutely destroyed EffOrt. The way EffOrt was destroyed in the last OSL, but EffOrt's actually in the position that Flash was in the last OSL round of 16 against EffOrt, ironically. So EffOrt, Flash basically in the last OSL, there was no way he was going to move out of the round of 16, but he had to go up against EffOrt in the last game anyway. And EffOrt really doesn't have any way to get out of the round of 16 unless some player breaks their back and he can come up through a wild card or something. But still not likely to happen. So, yeah, it's pretty much up to him whether or not Fantasy goes into a tiebreaker with Calm and Shine. And EffOrt doing some very strong micro with his drone, almost taking down an SCV. So it looks like he's here to win this game. Probably going in with the same mindset that Flash did in the last OSL, but Flash cheesed, so it's a little bit different. Flash did a 2 racks build against EffOrt. EffOrt did not think it was coming, so he got completely destroyed when he went for his hatchery first. Another hatchery coming up for EffOrt, so I think he's going to go through a very standard 3 hatch mutilus build, although he's not putting up his gas just yet. Fantasy is into the main, so he's going to scout whatever's happening. Going around making sure there's not a drone mining those minerals. And yes, I'm hoping that Fantasy wins today, just so we'll have a very epic tiebreaker between him, Calm, and Shine. Don't really want Shine in the round of 8, just because I don't think he's completely proven himself yet. But if he gets into the round of 8, I'm not going to be irked about it, because he deserves to be there, and I hope that he puts up a good fight if he gets up into the round of 8. But yeah, might get another tiebreaker here today that I'll have to commentate on infinitely tonight. Another base coming up for Fantasy. Very, very standard Terran play these days. Go for that base, just a few Marines to protect that base, and then you have a pretty big economic advantage. Terran can sit in 2 bases for a long time. Long time, as long as they keep their troop count up and keep their base defended against mutas. Layers coming up for EffOrt. He's getting his second base up and running. Probably going to throw down a second gas if he is going for a mutualist build. Fantasy's doing a great job staying in here with his first scouting SCV, keeping that alive to see if EffOrt plops down the Spire. Okay, EffOrt coming in with an Overlord, but if the Overlord's spotted, it might be destroyed by Marines. The Overlord does not have speed upgrade, obviously, so it might not be able to outrun the Marines. It's coming down. Fantasy's going to scout that Overlord eventually here. But looks like the engineering bay coming up. That's going to be for turrets to fend off against Muta Harass. So I'm assuming that EffOrt put down the Spire. If Fantasy scouted the Spire, he's going to know to put down lots of turrets. Although, yeah, the lair's not up yet, so he's just assuming that EffOrt's going for that 3-hatch Muta build, which is, I think, is a very safe... Oh my god, a cricket! Oh, there's a cricket! Here, guy, go away! Go away! Okay, sorry about that. A cricket attacked me. It jumped on me. I have a pet tarantula, but for some reason I'm freaked out by a tiny cricket. But yes, I flicked that little bugger away. And another base is coming up, actually, for EffOrt at the 2 o'clock position. So he's going for heavy macro mode. And once EffOrt gets into macro mode, it's very difficult to stop him. So I think Fantasy's going to have to come up with some pretty creative drops in this game, some economic drops, to make sure that EffOrt can't get his macro going, can't get a huge number of bases up. Because if he does, he just might be able to overwhelm Fantasy. He has a very overwhelming versus Terran style. He just throws units at Terran, basically. Keeps the Terran ball of troops low, keeps the troop count low, and eventually he's all over the map. You're like, wow, how did he get that many bases? But that's what he's good at, getting up a huge macro game. But like Fantasy, both these guys are pretty similar in the fact that they're not incredibly flexible. Fantasy has been known to go for very interesting strategies, of course, but once those strategies start to fail, he doesn't really switch to anything else. He doesn't have a plan B, and I think EffOrt is somewhat the same way, although it's yeah, kind of hard to judge that when they're both going up against each other, who will be the most flexible here. Here come the 9 mutas. And a couple more mutas coming up, unless those are drones at the new base for EffOrt. If throwing down another hatchery, 4-hatch Muta might be extremely powerful here, and Fantasy's going to have to probably throw down a couple of turrets just behind that natural expansion area. There's a pretty big ridge up there that EffOrt could just camp out, kill SCVs, go back, kill SCVs, being scouted, scanned by Fantasy, so Fantasy scans this. He scans the Mutalisk coming up, and Mutalisk is going to take out that scout, so Fantasy maybe not going to know about that 2 o'clock unless he scanned that as well, but I don't think he'll waste that many scans. The cricket's back, sorry. Go away, cricket! Okay, threw the cricket down. And a firebat trying to go up, find a drone that might be throwing down another base, but that firebat gets picked off, so a couple of units picked off already for Fantasies coming up. Medica Marines fighting back. Oh, he does have stim prepared. I was going to say, if he didn't have stim, this could be extremely bad, but he does have stim prepared. He's getting up an engineering bay for his upgrades. He's going to get the +1 upgrade for those Medica Marines. That's going to definitely help him shred through the Mutalisk clump. And EffOrt's in here with his Zerglings as well, so he could get a really big surround on these Medica Marine troops. He's coming in with Zerglings, trying to find the right opportunity to surround the Medica Marines while going in with the same time with his Mutas, picking off another Firebat. Fantasy's trying to be sneaky and get a Firebat up to the base to... And he's doing a lot of scans too, keeping on some nice scouting, and that's definitely going to be important. He needs to know exactly how many bases that EffOrt has coming up.